Howdy everyone, it's me, Alex, and I'm bored. Path of Exile Early Access launched on Friday, and I tried to stream it, but this happened. Unexpected error. So, at that point, I gave up, went back in the morning, but other people were able to play later, and I had no issues next morning. And while I still haven't played as much as I would like to, I was able to finish Act 1 with one character, and I'm having a really good time with it. So today, we're going to talk about the patch notes, which are a big deal, and some other things that are being discussed a lot. 72 hours in, we're already getting updates based on feedback. Crazy. It's like they're actually paying attention. Kinda. So one of the biggest ones, my biggest complaint, is I've made 3 hardcore characters already, and they've all died from this, which has been kind of fixed. So they did dodge roll changes. So unlike Diablo, you can roll forever, which is the best, but you got stuck on enemies and they would just still pop you and dead. Also bonus, when you die in hardcore, you resurrect as a normal league character. Love that. That's amazing. Did the first one do that? I never played hardcore. I didn't really care about that stuff until Diablo 2 Resurrected, and then I wasn't really playing the first one at that time. So still a great feature. I love it. Just being zapped back to normal realm, 10 out of 10. But this, a lot of players have expressed frustration about being trapped by monsters. Yeah, that was my biggest complaint. Well, one of them. While it was intended that monsters are able to trap and kill you, we'll finish it and then I'll share my thoughts. We felt that the frequency of this was a little too high, very too high. We will be deploying the following changes upcoming patch. Player size is now set to 0 units while dodge rolling instead of 1. Sure. Some smaller monsters can now be pushed while dodge rolling. This includes monsters such as adorned beetles in Keth. Okay, this should result in getting trapped less often. Great. Biggest issue, well, I love that you can push the little guys, because being surrounded by little guys and not being able to do anything about it kind of wraps into one of my other big complaints. You're way too slow. I have like 15% move speed. You really don't see it. That kind of builds into my second complaint. The monsters are so much faster than you. And I get it, they're monsters, but goddamn, give me a break here. They can come up from off the screen to surrounding you in no time. And being a filthy casual like myself, I don't want to sit around and read forum after forum of best builds, this, that. Like, that's not fun for me. I don't care. All you 8,000 hour people, good fucking luck trying to enjoy your life. But the speed you move compared to the enemies, it seems a little off. A slight tweak for the player speed would be huge, or make the dodge kind of give you a little more distance, maybe? I don't know. Something definitely needs to change with that. It's a little too much, and this is early. I can't imagine what the weirdos that already got to endgame are dealing with at the moment. No thanks. But either way, this is a big improvement. Having something, the fact that they're already doing it after 72 hours. Yeah, I love it. That's great. Okay, checkpoint changes. A lot of players have been reporting that it can be tedious to need to retread areas of maps in order to get back to the objectives that they already found. This is a huge complaint in Diablo 4 with the Nightmare Dungeons. Having to run back and forth and you're just slow as all hell. Why? Have everything be linear. I love big maps, but if you have a big map just to have it filled with nothing and then you have to run back and forth. I've seen some of the maps on Reddit that were cleared and they're huge. This isn't like run for 2 minutes and you're at the end. This is time, especially with how goddamn slow you are. We will be deploying the following change in an upcoming patch. Clicking on a checkpoint will allow you to teleport to the other checkpoints in that area that are explored on your minimap. That's great. Points have been added to all entrances and exits of zones to allow for teleportation. Fabulous. A checkpoint has been added to the midpoint of the first Dreadnought area. Don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's later on. We'll be making further adjustments, as we gather feedback. Okay. Great start. I love this one. Having to run all the way back is so dumb. It literally defeats the point of having a big map, is having to run back and forth through nothing. Item changes. One of the major problems that players have been experiencing is feeling that the game is not rewarding enough. Yeah, I noticed that. This is an area that we have to be very careful when adjusting because it's very hard to reduce drops if we increase them by too much. We identified a few key areas that we believe significantly improve the experience that players are having. Yeah, the first boss of Act 1, the wolf, very fun fight. I actually really liked that. Bosses they did right in this game. The drops are garbage. You're getting like basic currency and scrolls of wisdom. It's not satisfying. Like you get a bunch of white items from a Act 1 boss. Like what is that? What is that? So having some sort of improvement will be amazing. Rare monster changes. Rare monsters were not rewarding enough. This didn't affect the campaign as much because there are more unique bosses. Increasing the overall amount of drops, kinda debatable, but especially noticeable when playing the endgame where unique monsters are less common, which is interesting. Why are they less common? They should be more common. Isn't the point of them killing you and you getting good stuff? In particular, the reward you're getting for the increased difficulty of rares wasn't lining up. So they did a rarity bonus per rare mod has been doubled. 10% quantity bonus per rare mod. Increase the chance of rare monsters inherently having more modifiers. Yeah, this is all endgame stuff, but already seeing improvements to stuff like this. One, it's crazy that it's still this early and people are already complaining about endgame. Fucking blows my mind. I know it was only half the campaign, but it's still funny to me. These changes will cause rare monster rewards to naturally scale, which they should already technically, up as you get higher levels, because the number of mods a monster can have increases throughout the campaign and into endgame. In addition, any other forms of map juicing, which is something you do later on, endgame, will indirectly cause rare monsters to have more mods as well. Yeah, that makes sense. Increasing the rewards of other mechanics too. The rewards should balance what you're doing. It's good to see improvements are happening. Currency changes. Regal orb drops increased by 40%. Disenchanting of 6 mod rares to give 2 regal shards instead of 1. Don't know any of this because I'm not there yet. I'll get there one day though. Lesser Jeweler's orbs drop rate increased about 33%. Reduce the drop rate of chaos orbs slightly, as they're less valued, so it doesn't consume much of the rare currency drop pool. I mean, that's good. Less more useless items and more useful items. I like the sound of that. It causes more exalted orbs to increase somewhat. Somewhat's not a great amount of increase. Gem Curtis Prism drop rate increased 5, but that's a big jump. I'm sure it's very low. And they now increase quality on gems by 5 instead of 1. Okay. Map mod, more endgame stuff. Changed all map prefix mods. Some examples are rarity mods have been increased by 2.5. Quantity mods have an extra rarity added to them in a later patch. Remove the bottom tier of some mods, more likely to roll modifiers that affect drops or pack size rather than less useful mods. No one wants useless mods. Unlucky drop protection. One of the major issues we have identifying our outlier unlucky drops. A single unique boss dropping badly, especially early on, can significantly affect your character. Yeah, big time. I literally got a bunch of whites. I wish I was recording or streaming. We have deployed the following changes. No more than 50% of a unique monster drop will be gold. That's good. Act bosses and map bosses. Damn it. Act bosses and map bosses will always drop at least 1 rare. God damn it. The first of these changes is more significant than it appears because players can't see the difference between normal and rare gold piles. You will get more equipment and currency items, which can take more advantage of the rarity increase that unique monsters provide. Okay. Apparently there was an issue with click to move. I only used WASD. It was name locking. This would often result in your character confusingly attacking unexpected direction while holding down this action. Oh, that's annoying. Move only no longer name locks. Okay, so they fixed that. Endgame maps. Players actually accidentally missing rare monsters. In addition, many maps did not have the number of rare monsters that they should have had. Oh, that's bad. Kind of feels like same issue with Diablo 4. Endgame, you should be not like swarms of monsters, but it should be a little more packed. Or am I crazy? Pose and patch note for changes when they're deployed. Okay, this is what's been deployed. Oh yeah, look at that. There we go, now you can see it. These have already been deployed. Campaign bosses killed after the first kill will now drop less currency, okay? Drop rate of regal, drop rate of gem cutter prisms, single prism, yep. Yeah, we're actually doing pretty good. They got a lot of stuff out already. 72 hours. Grinding your games, not messing around. Item rarity and item quantity. Increase the chance for rare monsters and maps to have 3 or 4 modifiers. Rare monsters in map areas are now revealed in the mini-map when there are 200 monsters remaining. Previously 50, that's a big jump. Make clearing them much easy. Oh, you have to clear some of those big stupid maps? Oh, that sucks. Fix the bug with some persistence buff skills, such as Raging Spirits and Mana Remnants. We're not working for the Infernalist when in demon form. Then we got some bug squashing. Not too bad. Great start for just the initial weekend. The fact that they're able to find this many things to change, well, not a great thing, but the fact that they're on it already is fantastic. Because I feel like Diablo, we were waiting for quite a bit for anything to happen. That's okay. It happens. Okay, next up, changes to Path of Exile's account system. This was something I was actually looking for because I definitely played on PlayStation, I definitely played on Xbox, and they now let you merge your accounts in order to support Path of Exile 1 and 2 sharing microtransactions, as well as cross-play. We made some changes to our account system, and this will be in the next few days. One of the annoying problems that we previously had was that creating new accounts and the name you wanted was very difficult. With so many accounts, new players often have to try 10 or more names to get a name that wasn't taken. Same. Who the hell's playing as Beefy 5-layer? I want to be Beefy 5-layer. I wanted my ranger to be a Beefy 5-layer. All these stupid names I use, and I can't even use it. Since we're merging all the platforms, accounts into a single account system, we know that we had to deal with some of the conflicts anyway, so we decided to add a discriminator number. Okay. Yeah, so you get a little stupid number at the end of the account name. Sub-accounts. This is what I was looking for. There are many players who previously created an account on console, platform, as well as on PC. I definitely made one for everything. These players can now merge these accounts together so they can play across both platforms. That makes me happy. When merging accounts, both sub-accounts will still exist and have their characters listed separately. Which account you are currently using can be selected with the account selection box at the top of the character selection screen at your login. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Make sure we can see it. Yep. Yeah, so the microtransactions, the purchases will be on where you purchased it. Also count on PC, purchases on both, and you can ask support to move them to a single sub-account as a one-time action. Okay, so you can move them to another in case you spent on 2 different accounts. Characters cannot be transferred between sub-accounts, so you should only do this if you tend not to use the moved microtransactions. Okay, yeah, I saw people complaining about the purchases on PlayStation platforms cannot be used on other platforms, and purchases made on other platforms cannot be used on PlayStation. These purchases can still be on the same sub-account, but the microtransactions will be unavailable when viewing them in your stash. That's annoying. But Sony being Sony. What else is new? Merging other platform accounts. Path of Exile accounts have always been able to support logging in from multiple PC-based platforms at the same account. We're also now allowing you to merge separate accounts that were created on different PC platforms. Unintentionally created multiple accounts on different platforms. You can merge them, but you can only merge one account created from each platform. Okay, so you can't merge multiple Steam accounts. I mean, that makes sense. That's a nice little bonus for people playing multiple platforms. Okay, now we're going to dip into some of the weirdos that are already done with the game after one whole weekend. I just find this stuff hilarious. Level 80 Cold Crit Chronomancer. Blah 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 build. Done with early access for now, I think. Seen enough to know it's not how I want to spend my time. I love the bosses and I like the more combo-based skill gameplay. Gotta tune monster health with the campaign levels, insane size of the maps, coupled with ridiculous health on the mobs, makes it really hard to enjoy. Game designers have got a lot to learn. That more health does not mean higher difficulty. Yeah, it just means boring. Bullet sponges. If you want games with bullet sponges, go play The Division, okay? Because you're just shooting people in the face for 20 minutes. So much fun. Item drops are ridiculous. You need to get tuned upward. They're working on it. I understand the design philosophy of crafting from the ground up, but if you aren't going to have consistent drops for currency, it goes right out the window. This is something you only feel really hard in the campaign, but does not go away in maps. There's no way to ever bother put the time to create the items for powerful builds in a game as it stands. Ascendancies are locked behind some of the worst design League mechanics Poe has to offer. I've heard a lot of complaining about that. It's a shot to really take the lab to a new level of crazy here. Really disappointed amount of recycled material in the game. I mean, I'm not that surprised. They had solid stuff in the first one, and they didn't want to just be like, all right, we're done with it. So it kind of makes sense. And they're off to a great start. Even with all the flaws and complaints, I think they're off to a really good start. Overall, I think the game looks and plays well, needs a lot of tuning to make it worth holding on to a player base. That said, I'm actually quite disappointed that this many years into development, this is what they have to show for it. God, people are so dramatic. It's hardly the indie darling they were 10 years ago and had years of development time and millions of cash to get this going. I'd have expected when people's honestly, like, I do agree with some points on this, like, legitimately, but People's expectations are so absolutely insane just so they can play it nonstop for a weekend and then be like, meh, it's not for me. We found another one of them. This one's a little longer, but we're gonna jump around. Level 1 through 80 experience, good, bad, ugly. Bosses, high point of the game, without a doubt. Po 2 shines in its boss encounters. I very agree. They're so much more satisfying than Diablo's bosses. Genuinely fun, engaging, often challenging in a rewarding way. Yes, I found myself thoroughly enjoying the strategic depth that each encounter provides. The mechanics are diverse, requiring both timing and precision, makes each fight feel refresh and rewarding. I almost said refreshing. Despite the enjoyable boss counters, the campaign feels far too long and tedious. At level 80 plus, I've completed all 6 acts, and it's clear that the journey would have benefited from a tighter, more focused design. The story is fine, and the gameplay remains engaging for the most part. Was there a story in the first one? I never paid attention to anything. There's an overwhelming sense of repetition in the content. I mean, that's every ARPG. After a while, it starts to feel like the game is artificially stretching out its length through filler content and padding. I found myself wishing for more meaningful variety as I slog through act after act. It's a grind, no doubt about it. Good time overall. The campaign could have been trimmed by at least 30 to 40%. The map system. Yes, this is apparently one of the bigger complaints. You have 1 life for the maps once you beat the game and you're doing endgame stuff. If you die once, you fail the map and you're kind of screwed. My experience has been a mix of frustration and confusion. A typical session goes like this. I complete a T8 map, gain some XP, but receive no T8 or T9 maps in return. I'll go down to a T7, complete that. Again, no maps in return. Cycle then drags me back to C6, where I might finally get a T7 map to drop. However, even after slogging through these maps, I'm at risk of getting one-shotted by an absurd mechanic. Yeah, often with no clear telegraphing or indication of the danger until it's too late. When that happens, I lose not only the progress on the map, but also a significant chunk of XP, along with my loot. Yeah, that sounds insanely frustrating. Any game mechanic that relies on one hit you're dead, and it's not built around anything that hits you, or everything that hits you is dead, like that, I guess makes sense, because don't get touched by anything. But a game like this where you get swarmed and then a random enemy could just one-shot you, that's not fun at all. And then you're penalized for it. That's only for specific people. But shit, that's still not fun at all. For example, we're doing a T9 map last night, and my minions killed a rare mob. It died and killed me off screen. I didn't even have a chance, just dead, no warning. Yeah, that sucks. This kind of progression feels punishing in a way that's hard to justify. Losing an hour of progress in a single unexplained mechanic feels like an unfair, arbitrary punishment. This bullshit mechanic issue has been the source of a lot of frustration in my experience. There's a fine line between challenge and just plain unfairness. Biggest complaint, is it difficult or is it cheap? It's usually cheap. And Po 2 seems to cross that line too often with its poorly telegraphed one-shot mechanics. Players going to be punished by such mechanics should be better warning signs, yeah. Or at very least, more forgiving way to recover from such losses. I'm not complaining about the overall difficulty. The challenge is generally well balanced, and I appreciate the difficulty spikes that push players to optimize their builds and use their skills effectively. Yes, that is actually my favorite part of the game, which is why I don't want to like pre-read builds, because having to like dig in and be like, okay, why do I suck right now? Because right now I just got to Act 2 and my build for Act 1 ain't working so well right now. I'm playing a witch and I'm 17. So current build, I can kill things, but it's not killing them as fast as I would like. And every fight's kind of a little dangerous. So I need to, take a bit and rebuild, restructure. What's gonna work? What can I try? What haven't I tried yet? I love it. It's great. Because then when you find something that works and you're able to just push forward a big chunk, it's so satisfying. That's why I never understand pre-build people. If you've done it once, I get it. That's fine. Whatever. The one and dones, that's not my cup of tea. Okay, of course. NERFS. Anytime I watched like a hat guy video, Riker, and you would talk about NERFS and all that stuff, the amount of complaints, it was just endless complaining. Every game has NERFS one way or another. Here we are. Time for NERFS. Path of Exile. Currently, it's a bit too easy to detonate gas cloud explosions when combined with persistent ignite skills like Flame Wall. We'll be adjusting the explosion damage of both gas grenade and gas arrow. I think also it was easy to like reignite, so you'd be able to just kind of rapidly explode the room, which sounds hilarious, but sad face. Find another skill at unacceptable balance state. Following the same ideals as earlier, we're also going to be reducing the damage of magnetic salvo. This isn't the only skill on our radar right now. Supercharged slam is unfortunately dealing too much damage. Oh, sorry. far too much damage than it was intended given the short channel window required to hit maximum stages. We are imminently going to be reducing. It's unfortunate. Nerfs happen. It's part of it. It's early access. There's going to be so many changes between now and when the game's done. Now, this is one thing that I very agree with. Get the idea of multi-skill combos, but there just isn't enough time. I'm playing Lightning Spark Source. My combo consists of Orb of Storms, Mana Tempest, Firewall, Connectivity, and Spam Spark. It is literally impossible to do so at the speed at which the bosses and mobs move. Yeah, white mobs die with just Mana Tempest, while blue and above mobs are too thick and powerful that I have to kite them shooting. There is no opportunity whatsoever to use the majority of my skills. Fighting bosses, I have to dodge and cast Spark occasionally, an Orb or Firewall down, and that's it. Even when bosses are stunned, they recover too fast that I barely get to hit them more than once or twice with my Spark after I set my combo down. I definitely agree with that. I have like my own separate single enemy target skills. It's just not efficient. I feel cucked, lol, that I have this great setup for me to unlock my maximum DPS, but I never get to use it. It feels like the game is balanced around crowd control. Isn't great unless your build is really crowd control heavy like Ice Sorceress, or just a summoner with the minions do all the work for you. Minions are very squishy early on. But this I agree with big time. I was using, I think it was Spark, the zappies shooting around the room, and Firewall. So I just Firewall in front of me and just fill the room with lightning, and it was beautiful. It would kill everything, except when I get to a big boy, it didn't do anything to them. So I had to kind of dual build. So I have my crowd control and then my single target, and I was able to beat Act 1 with it, and it's not working anymore. So I have to kind of redo everything. Unless there's some way I can make Spark better, but probably not. But having to cast 3 skills, so one of your skills is doing damage to groups, or even elites, you don't cast fast enough. Even with cast rate, it's not going to be enough. You still have to like 1, 2, 3, and even just doing that, they're already in your face, completely surrounding you by 2. So you immediately have to stop and start evading, and then you can't use what you want to use because you're across the room already. This is something I very agree with. Next up, another thing I agree with. Cost to try new things is too high. There's a lot of valid criticism towards Bo 2. Involuntary frequent gangbangs, the lack of loot, merely feeling worse than in Arch Nemesis. I don't know what that is. Other references I don't get. However, there are 2 comments that I've not seen much. The cost of respec is too high, and the scaling per level is nuts. It's very difficult to try new skills or as in supports given heavy restrictions on access and uncut gems in campaign. At level 32, respec costs over 600 per point. Oh, it goes up when you level up. Ooh. Because I only checked it when I was like level 6. When did I get it? Like 10? And it was like 100 and change. This early access stuff is broken. Skills do not meet expectations. Hotfixes can kill a build. Campaign is long and tedious, and loot was partially moved to vendors. The access to respec, while better than in PO 1, prior to sellers, is very harsh for a game in early access. If the costs get cut 1/3 at least, it wouldn't feel as bad to alter your build, or give us 1 free respec per level. Just something. Level 32, full clearing everything, 4 unused gems in my stash. The fact that you have chosen between getting a new skill or upgrading existing when a gem drops would be fine if there were more dropping. Yeah, that I agree with. Or if I could buy gems from a previous act in the next. Ooh, that would be nice. So you could buy level 1 support, level 2 spirit, level 5 active skill gem in act 2. Not sure if I'm unlucky or what, but currently I am gem starved. Yeah, have 4 characters right now, and I kind of use skill gems when I need to, and when I'm killing crowds, I stash them. I don't want to have to wait until I find another one. So this is another big issue, and skills are make or break your character. They should be a little easier to get. But I agree, even like lower level ones being able to buy would be helpful as hell. In respec, it on my previous video, someone's like, yeah, you can respec, it just costs money. It's like, you can't though. The way they built this system is you absolutely cannot keep swapping back and forth, because if it goes up per level you are, it's insane. It's kind of like how it was in Diablo 4. You want to try a new build, good luck. You're going to spend all your money, you need to grind levels out just to be able to do it, and then you get to try it, and what if it sucks? You have to do it again. Miserable experience. But that's that one. Last one, mapping. It's extremely unsatisfying. I don't know the 1 life stuff because I'm not there yet, but it doesn't sound fun. Players are 10 times slower. It's very slow for bigger maps. 1 life. Monsters are really fast. This plus the last point means you end up playing even slower so you don't get surrounded and stun locked. Yep, maps are huge. One rare monster at the very end of the map is required to clear your map, so you have to play Dark Souls with the entire map. Oh, that sucks. You need to kill all rares, so this ends up happening. Oh, that sounds awful and unfun. Monster at the end of the map drops basically nothing. Yep. I just ran a map for 20 minutes and he's using boats and rewarded me. Nothing. Maps here. Huge! Lead mechanics are overturned at T1 maps. I don't know what that means yet. Loot doesn't exist, and therefore gearing is extremely difficult. Yeah, I still have stuff from like 2 hours ago that I'm using, which is crazy, because early in the game you should be switching shit nonstop, because it should be getting better. Especially true if your build isn't very strong to begin with. Yeah, maps are huge. If you die, you can replay the map, but no longer has any of the mechanics in it. Oh, that sucks. From comments. You spend 15 minutes on a map and then die the final few monsters. It feels beyond awful that all this progress just disappears because you have to do the entire thing from scratch. Now without any of the juicy mechanics. Yeah, that seems awful. Keep forgetting to switch back to this. I know people keep calling this like a Souls-like. God damn, it's not. It's not a Souls game. It's an ARPG. It's a fucking Exile-like or whatever you want to call it. They're very different games. One is fun, one is not fun. Not a fan of the other ones. Boring. Snooze fest. Attacking once and rolling for an entire fight is not fun. In my opinion, it's actually pretty good. To address the issue about dying near the end of the map, can we add some sort of objectives in the map that give you more lives? So if you're dying at the beginning or dying too much, you lose the map. But if you're progressing, then you don't lose all your progress because of one death. That's actually a good idea. There's not enough support gems. There's not enough gems. I had this combo of spells, but I had to drop most of them because I couldn't find enough support gems. Oh, that sucks. To scale all these parts of my combo up, now I'm just running 2 spells to do as much damage as I can, as fast as I can. It's a shame though, because I was really enjoying feeling like a real sorcerer with all these different spells in my arsenal that I can use based on my situation. Also, my third batch of ascendancy points will give me like 15% more damage. Why is it so hard to get them? That's like half a support gem. Yeah, that's pretty bonkers. That's the progress so far. So, the game is a lot of fun though. I'm enjoying it. Flaws, obviously. No game's perfect. If you say there it is, you're a liar. But I'm still having a ton of fun with it. And if you want to do more videos like this, want me to, let me know. And I'll be streaming Thursday night, so you can watch me be terrible. That's all I got. Alright, everybody. That's these notes and my opinions and the game so far. Thank you for watching. I've been bored. I'll see you jerks later.